Hey folks, Simon in my workshop. I had no idea that there are materials out there that can behave so weirdly. In this video, I will tell you about strange material properties that governments use to control our lives. Maybe I'm risking a lot revealing these hidden secrets to you, but anything I've been told about secret material science needs sharing. So coming up are the weirdest I've heard about.
No one has any clue what it is. It looks like a giant ice cube you might have pulled out of your fridge. Head groundskeeper Patrick Coakley, otherwise known as Irish, has come to scoop it up. Still have no clue what the unidentified object may be. Is it a big wisp of cotton candy that flew off the roof? Patrick's struggling to contain it. It's trying to float away.
Strange foam at the baseball game, folding bicycles, balloons, tic-tacs and surveillance. What have they all got in common? They all use cutting-edge material science. Let me turn my manta ray off. Some people don't like the whirring sound. There we go. What was it they saw at the baseball match? Well, it was obviously aerogel.
Is that a balloon covered in dish soap? For those of you listening on the radio stream, I'd have to estimate it's about the length of one's leg. It touched down at about the first and second base split, halfway between the bags, and has now taken a course across the infield behind the mound over to third base side foul territory.
What's aerogel? Well, it's an amazing piece of material science. It originated in the 1920s and 30s. It's basically silica, which you take out all the liquid. Imagine you make a Jell-O, and you take all the water out of it, you would still be left with the lattice work of the pink stuff. And it looks like a foam, in fact, if you removed all the water. And you can do that with various materials, including metal. And it has incredible properties. You saw that picture of a brick standing on aerogel, and then you saw how fragile it was at the baseball game. It has both of those qualities. It's very strong in certain aspects and very brittle in others. And it's a closed cellular structure. Every bubble inside it is encased. There's no access to gas going in and out of the individual foamy bubbles in an aerogel. So you can choose what's inside the bubbles. The most common thing is just air, but you can put hydrogen and helium in it, which we know is lighter than air, and then the aerogel, having almost no mass, but some strength, will float because it's buoyant. But my film today is about cutting edge technology. There is a gas that you can put inside an aerogel that would make it much more buoyant than hydrogen. And that's nothing. Yes, the counterintuitive vacuum balloon. The thing with vacuum balloons is that the pressure of the air outside would, of course, crush it, so it wouldn't work. But its obvious advantage, if you could contain the vacuum, is that nothing is lighter than air, and it would be the most buoyant substance. How do you contain a vacuum without it being crushed? Aerogel.
Imagine a photograph of a UFO so clear, detailed, that it leaves everyone speechless. This is the case of the Calvine UFO, a mystery that still fascinates and intrigues today.
Here's possibly an aerogel craft that was seen over Calvine in Scotland. Controversial as ever, Simon. In fact, it probably isn't aerogel, it's probably aeroloi. You can make a foam out of aluminium that will contain a vacuum. And given enough size, about 40 foot in length and faceted or tic-tac shaped, it will rise up very quickly. Exactly what the two chefs at Calvine actually saw. So who's building these buoyant craft and for what purpose? Well, it's not the military, it's the NRO and Los Alamos. They want to have Gorgon stare type constant surveillance because with constant time-based media surveillance, you can solve crimes with a magic trick. Let me talk through a scenario, but first of all, I need to go to my workshop to get something really dangerous. Just imagine I was a mad bomber. And I wanted to blow up a city. You would probably see the explosion on CCTV, and that would be it. And you would have no real evidence of who planted it and what happened afterwards. Imagine you had time-based media, constant Gorgon stare surveillance over your city.
Leaked documents revealed the scope of the NSA's mass surveillance program.
We cannot prevent terrorist attacks or cyber threats without some capability to penetrate digital communications.
Good morning. This is a highly classified program that is crucial to our national security.
What you can do is rewind time and go forward in time. That's an incredible, powerful tool to work out who the bomber was, where he came from, and where he went. So, the explosion goes off, and you freeze the frame, and you look at all the vehicles within a block. Then using AI interpretation of the image, you can ask, what vehicle arrived just before the explosion? Probably the mad bomber. And you pin it down to 2 cars. Where did they come from? You can rewind the clock following the car backwards to its origin place, where somebody woke up and drove to the bomb site. You can then go forward and see if that same car left the bomb site and where did it go? Did it go back to the same house it came from? What's at that house and are they terrorists? That concept of TBM, time-based media, Gorgon stare, constant surveillance over a whole city that you can interpret, zoom into, go backwards and forwards in time, is an ultimate surveillance tool. I think it originated in the Middle East, where bad people were planting bombs and detonating them. You needed to know who it was, where they came from, and where they went afterwards. And to do that, you used Reaper drones that could fly over maybe for 3 days over Baghdad and see who was doing this. But ideally, you want something that's always there. Now, that's a big problem. A drone can stay in the air for maybe 3 days and has to be within 1,000 or 2,000 miles of a base. A LEO, low Earth orbit satellite, only zooms over the city maybe once every 45 minutes. And of course, if you had a geostationary satellite, it's so far away you wouldn't get any detail. 22,000 kilometers, it'd be hard to zoom in to see little me with my can of petrol. So what do? You want something that is invisible, has a camera, and can stay up there for weeks or months. Oh, perfect. We've got a new material to make a lighter-than-air buoyant craft that can station keep above an area of interest for the National Reconnaissance Office. So what's that got to do with the washing up liquid foam they saw at the baseball match? Well, that's a very embarrassing small part of a blown up NRO Gorgon Stare surveillance balloon that was over the Navy nuclear facility nearby. A national asset that needs constant surveillance. When these unmanned buoyant craft eventually run out of steam or juice or vacuum, they just blow them up. And what's left of the lightweight sensor, the solar panels, and the station-keeping little fan-ducted motors just vaporizes, and the rest of it falls down to the ground as blue aerogel. Unfortunately for them, and very embarrassingly, a bit of it appeared on national television. That, in my humble opinion, is what we're looking at here. You no doubt have got a lot of interesting questions. The craft has to be quite big. The patent for it shows a sphere or a tic-tac shape, about 40 foot long. Sometimes it's faceted with a radar absorbent material, such as the Calvin craft, or it can just be white with a metamaterial, which scatters radar energy. They would have to fly above commercial flight levels, maybe about 60 to 100,000 feet, we think. There's a very interesting troposphere boundary layer about that height where winds drop to nothing. As we go from the troposphere into the stratosphere, there's a mixing layer where it's actually very calm. For a buoyant craft to station keep using electric thrusters, solar powered and batteried, over a target. That's what's going on. They're all over the place. One was actually seen over Paris during the last Paris Olympics. These Aerogel or Aeroloi vacuum buoyant craft are looking down on you today. So being very light is a superpower for governments. Lightweight engineering costs a lot of money. Making things strong and light is complex. My hobby, cycling, is no exception. Bikes under 15 kilograms all carry a premium price. But I found an affordable folding bike that weighs under 13 kilograms. Check this out. I've always wanted a Bickerton, a special folding bike, beautifully engineered, that costs both an arm and a leg. I was approached by Evercross to test their new folding bike that uses the Bickerton style rear wheel folding system with wheels. It weighs almost nothing, it comes with a derailleur gear set, it's not an electric bike, and it costs €600. This weird person with two dogs, Dorothy, my wife, followed me round my village to film me on my Evercross bike. There's a link in the description if you want to get a Bickerton style folding bike that fits in your car for under £600. If you want to deep dive into aerogel technology, check out this video from a man who thinks that the Tic Tac UFO was actually a Navy buoyant craft. And remember, thumbs up, hype, and subscribe for more, because the truth needs to be out there.